Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. We are studying new syllabus mathematics and its book 3. We have started chapter number 3, which is linear inequalities. This is lesson number 15, and in this lesson, we will solve linear inequalities and we will solve questions of exercise 3A. This is question number 1. You are asked to fill in each box with less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to inequality sign. In doing this, we will use rules of inequalities which we have studied in the previous lesson. In some of the rules, if we apply the rule, we change the sign of inequality, and in some rules, the sign of inequality does not change. Now, a part is if x is greater than y, then minus 6x and minus 6y. That is left hand side of this inequality is x and right hand side is y, and there is greater than sign. If both sides of this inequality are multiplied with a negative number minus 6, then you have to decide whether you will put the same sign in this box, or you will flip the sign, you will change the sign of inequality. uh, Go to the rules. Our rule is that multiplying both sides by negative number flips the inequality sign, changes the sign of inequality. Because here we are multiplying both sides of this inequality by minus 6, which is a negative number, so this sign of inequality will be changed. Here there is greater than, in the box we will write less than. Its B part is if x is less than y, then x over minus 30, y over minus 30. That is, both sides of this inequality are divided by a negative number, and this number is 30. So our rule is dividing both sides of the inequality by a negative number changes the sign of inequality. So there will be greater than sign in the box. Why? Because dividing both sides by negative number flips the sign of inequality. C part, x greater than or equal to y, then minus 4x and minus 4y. Again we are multiplying both sides by negative number, which is minus 4. So multiplying both sides by a negative number changes the sign of inequality or flips the sign of inequality. Here there is greater than or equal to, so multiplying this sign will become less than or equal to. And in D part, the inequality is x less than or equal to y, and both sides of this inequality are divided by a negative number, which is minus 10. So dividing both sides by negative number changes the sign of inequality. So this sign will be changed, and we will write greater than or equal to sign in the box. E part. Now this is addition of same number to both sides of the inequality. Actually there is 5 on the left hand side and 7 on the right hand side. If 5 is on the left hand side and 7 is on the right hand side, then which sign we will write in this box? Because 5 is less than 7, so we will use less than 7 here. And we are adding h to both sides of the inequality, because adding or subtracting same number to both sides of the inequality does not change the sign. So because initial inequality sign is less than, so it will remain less than, because adding same number to both sides, here h is being added to both sides, so this inequality sign will remain the same, which is less than sign. Similarly 5 and 7, 5 is less than 7, and if you will subtract the same number, that is k, from both sides of the inequality, the sign of inequality remains same, because subtracting same number does not change the inequality sign. So this is your question number 1. Question number 2, there are different parts in question number 2. You are asked to solve each of the following inequalities and then illustrate each solution on a number line. In the previous lesson, we have studied how to illustrate the inequality on a number line. First, we will solve this inequality and then we will illustrate the answer on the number line. Now, let's solve some of the parts of this question. Its A part is a plus 2 less than 3. To solve the inequality, we have some steps. If inequality has brackets, we multiply each part of the inequality by the denominator of the fractions. Sorry, if inequality has fractions, then we remove the fractions by multiplying each part of the inequality by the LCM of the denominator, because this inequality does not have any fraction. So we will move to the next step. Next step is if there are brackets in an inequality. So first we will remove the brackets. There is no bracket in this inequality, so we will move to the next step. Next step is we collect all the terms with variable on one side, and this side must be left hand side, and all the other terms without variable on the right hand side of the inequality. This is the right hand side of the inequality, so we will transfer plus 2 from left hand side to right hand side, and we will get a is less than 3 minus 2. Adding and subtracting same number from two both sides does not change the sign of inequality. The sign of inequality is same. Now simplify, we get a is less than 1. Now we will illustrate or represent this inequality on the number line. We will first draw a number line showing 0 in the middle and all the positive number on the right hand side and all the negative numbers on the left hand side. Now to represent this inequality on number line, we will put a circle on number 1. This is number 1. We will draw a circle at this number, and this circle will be empty circle because the inequality does not have equal sign. And we will draw an arrowed line towards left hand side because the sign of inequality is less. For less than or equal to sign, we draw arrow towards left, and for greater than or equal to sign, we'll draw arrowed line towards right of the circle. So here we will draw a line towards left. So this is the illustration of this inequality on number line. E part is minus 2e minus 1 less than or equal to 2. To solve this inequality, again there is no fraction, there is no bracket. So we will collect all the terms with variable on one side, left hand side. Minus 2a will be on the left hand side, and we will transfer minus 1 from left hand side to right hand side, and we get minus 2e less than or equal to 2 plus 1. Minus 2e 2 plus 1 is 3. So dividing both sides by negative number, which is minus 2, flips the sign of inequality because the coefficient of e is minus 2. When we will divide both sides of this inequality, we will change the sign of inequality. Less than or equal to will change into greater than or equal to. So this is our answer. E is greater than or equal to minus 3 over 2. Now illustrate this inequality on number line. This is the number line, and 3 over 2 mean 1 and half. So we will draw a circle over 1 and half. This is 1 and half, and at this point we will draw a circle, and we will draw an arrowed line towards the right because this is greater than or equal to sign. And we will shade this circle, we will fill this circle because inequality is greater than or equal to. Its g part is g minus 7 greater than or equal to 1 minus g. There are two terms with g and two terms without g. We will collect all the terms with g on left hand side and all the terms without g on right hand side. So we get g plus g greater than or equal to 1 plus 8. This is 2g greater than or equal to 8 because the coefficient of g is 2 plus 2. So dividing both sides of the inequality by a positive number does not change the sign of inequality. So dividing both sides by positive 2 will not change the sign of inequality. So we will get g greater than or equal to 4 dividing both sides by 2. Illustrate this inequality on number line. This is the number line. Draw a circle and this circle will be filled circle at number over number 4 and draw an arrowed line towards right from the circle like this. Its high part 8j plus 3 less than 2 into 7 minus j. This inequality does not have fraction, but this inequality has brackets. We will first remove these brackets. So we get 8j plus 3 less than 14 minus 2j. Removing this bracket and collecting all terms with j on left hand side and all terms with out j on the right hand side. 8j plus 2j less than 14 minus 3. So this is 8j less than 11 and j will be equal to 11 over 10 because 10 is positive and dividing by positive number does not change the sign of inequality. So j is less than 11 over 10, or you can write this as 1 and 1 over 10 or 1.1. So its number line will be, because this number is 1.1, so this is the number 1.1 whole and 0.1. Over this point we will draw a circle, and from this circle we will draw an arrowed line towards left hand side because this sign of inequality is less than, like this. L part is 3 into 1 minus 4n greater than 8 minus 7n. Again this inequality has brackets. We will remove these brackets. We get 3 minus 12n greater than 8 minus 7n. Collect all the terms with the variable on one side, left hand side, which is minus 12n plus 7n greater than 8 minus 3. So this is minus 5n greater than 5. Dividing both sides by negative 5 will change this inequality sign. Rule is this, that n is less than 5 over minus 5. We have divided both sides by a negative number which is minus 5 and n is less than minus 1. We will illustrate this inequality on number line. Draw a circle over the number minus 1 and an arrowed line towards left hand side. Its question number 3 is, you are given an inequality which is 7 plus 2x less than or equal to 16. You are asked to solve this inequality and illustrate the solution on a number line. First we will solve this inequality. To solve this inequality we will collect all the terms with variable on left hand side and all the terms without variable on right hand side, and we get 2x is less than or equal to 16 minus 7, and this is 2x less than or equal to 9. Dividing both sides by 2 we will get 9 over 2, and x is less than or equal to 4 and a half. Represent this inequality on number line. We will put a circle at 4 and a half. 4 and a half is the point between 4 and 5 at this point. This is 4 and a half. So at this point we will draw a circle and an arrowed line towards left hand side because The sign of inequality is less than or equal to. Because this inequality has equal sign, therefore we will shade this circle, an arrowed line towards left hand side. Now in first part you are asked that if x is an integer, integer is a whole number and it's negative. All the whole numbers and negative of the whole number. We know that whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their negative will be -1, -2, -3, -4. Integers cannot be fractions, integers cannot be decimals. So whole numbers are integers. In this case, if is x is integer, these are the values of x. All the numbers which are less than or equal to 4.5 are the solution of this inequality. But 4.5 is not an integer. You are asked to write the largest possible value of the integer x. The largest integer value of x is equal to 4. Starting from here, this is 4.5. This is the integer. 4 is integer, then there is 3.9, 3.8, 3.7, 3.6, 3.5, 3.4, 3.2, 3.1 and 3. 3 is an integer. 2 is an integer, 1 is an integer, 0 is an integer, -1, -2, -3, all are integers. But the largest of these is 4. So 4 is the largest integer value of x. In second part, you are asked to find the value of x when x is a perfect square. Perfect square are the squares of the natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are natural numbers. If you take the square of 1, it is 1. The square of 2 is 4. Square of 3 is 9. Square of 4 is 16. So 1, 4, 9, 16 and so on are perfect squares. So largest perfect square value of x is 4, because 4 is a perfect square and 1 is a perfect square. 3 is not a perfect square, 2 is not a perfect square. Or you can say the number when we take the square root of which gives the answer which is a natural number. Question number 4, again you are given an inequality. You are asked to solve this inequality and illustrate the solution on the number line. Solve this inequality by collecting all the terms with variable on one side and all the terms without variable on the right hand side. -4x minus 7x is greater than -18 minus 3. Simplifying, we get -7x greater than -20. Now the coefficient of x is negative and dividing both sides by negative number will change the sign of inequality. X is less than -20 over -7. We have actually divided both sides by -7. So -7x divided by -7 is x, and -21 divided by -21 is -21 over -7. We will divide these two numbers and we get x is less than 3. Now we will illustrate this answer on number line. Number line is 3. We will draw a circle over 3 and we will draw an arrowed line towards left, and this circle will be unshaded circle because inequality does not have equal sign. Now its first part, if x is a prime number, write down the possible value of x that satisfies the inequality. So the prime number or prime value of x is 2, because 3 is not, 3 is also prime number, but 3 is not included in the solution of this. When there is less than sign, it means x is less than 3. It is not equal to 3. So less than 3, the prime numbers are 2, only 2. 1 is not a prime number. And then it is asked that does x is equal to 0 satisfy the inequality? That is, if you replace x by 0 in this inequality, then the statement is true or false. If statement is true, then you will say that yes, this x is equal to 0 satisfies the inequality. If the statement is not true, then you will say that x is equal to 0 does not satisfy this inequality. When you put this 0 for this x, the statement is 0 less than 3, and this statement is true because 0 is always less than 3. So yes, x is equal to 0 satisfies the inequality. Its reason is, explain your answer, its explanation is because when we put 0 for x, this statement is true. So this is your lesson. In this week there were two lessons, and both of these two lessons are uploaded. Earlier lesson number 14, which I have uploaded and sent the link in the group, and today I will upload this lesson and I will send the link to you in the group. So this is your homework. Question number 2, it's D, F, H and K part. You will solve these parts of question number 2. Thank you for watching. Keep doing practice because practice makes knowledge perfect. Thank you for watching and Allah Hafiz.